The stuff you've done in the past cannot be held against you all the time. You gotta learn to forgive. But I also think that sometimes you need to shut the fuck up and stay off Twitter. Here's the thing, man. I talked to you guys about Twitter. Think about what you do on Twitter, man. If I was actually running things, I would make Twitter so difficult to post on. Here's the thing, man. I would make Twitter like buying a house. I'll put people through the ringer before they send anything. Every time you post on Twitter, it should be treated like an application for a job or a loan out there. You know, because every time, whenever you send a tweet, it's kind of like, well, I got your tweet. I'm just going to do a little background check real quick. See, it's nothing to worry about. I'm sure you're okay. You got nothing that you want to hide, right? Good. And the more high profile you are, the deeper that background check goes, man. And I got to tell you, though, I am impressed with the Twitter technology that we have right here. I have never seen a tool that has made people feel so smart for doing dumb shit. I mean, no, because you can be writing the dumbest thing, and in your mind, Twitter is telling you, oh my God, that is so smart. That is fucking profound, man. You are changing the world with this tweet right here. Oh my God, the public is going to love you for this. Oh my, you're going to win hearts and minds. Everybody's going to love you. Everybody's going to appreciate you. They're going to see you for the genius that you are. And next day, canceled that. I don't like what he said, because on Twitter, everything that you say, if it's not worded right, it can be held against you in the worst ways possible. I told you, man, every time you tweet, I said this earlier today, every time you tweet, it should be an hour before that thing even sends. Every time you press the send button, a little man should come up and say, are you sure? Are you exactly positive you want to do it? I tell you what, take a walk, go get lunch. Let's sit back and marinate on this for a little bit. And when you get back and you still feel like you want to send this tweet, so be it, I'll do it. But I want to think about what you're doing.
Twitter timeout.
But a little timeout, man.
That's too much work.
Good.
If you ask me.
Good. It should be.
It's better I'm not on it than thinking all that stuff.
It should be. Some people say, I'm looking at the chat, they say undo for 2 minutes. No, go out and take yourself a nice drive, a nice walk, a nice dinner, a nice lunch. Let that shit sit there for about an hour. And you think about what you just wrote. Because we've seen a lot of people in one day, we've seen people who have gone on Twitter and they are catching shit for what they think is either something profound or something they thought was really nice and heartfelt.
And even if you delete it later on, people get screenshots, so they can just put it out there again.
It's out there. People, in one day, everybody's been talking about Twitter. And they've been talking about several people. No. J.K. Rowling, somebody that was beloved. People say, J.K. Rowling, you changed my life. Not today they're saying, kill that bitch. Terry Crews, people said, Terry Crews, I feel for you, man. You were sexually assaulted. Oh my God, Terry Crews, you had a pornography addiction. So did I. I usually call it a hobby on my end, but I usually call it 3:00 on a weekday. But yeah, man, But I feel for you, brother. Oh, I was so sad for you, Terry Crews. Oh, I'm glad you persevered. Today they're talking about fuck you, Terry Crews. You son of a bitch, you self-hating black person. Today, dude on The Flash. Yesterday, this man was probably bragging to some chick at the bar talking about, yeah, I got a show. I'm on a show called The Flash. You might have heard of it. We're talking about this guy right here, Hartley Sawyer. Oh, yeah, man. I'm guaranteed to be on this show for another 2 seasons. Hold on, wait a minute. I got a message. Fired? For what? Fired for tweets I put out 6 years ago? Really? that background check goes that deep. I told y'all, man, whenever you are going on Twitter and you're sending a tweet, you will put in the application for a job, you put in an application for a loan, you put in an application to be around kids. You know, it's some serious shit. If I were you, I wouldn't even Twitter today. I would not put anything on Twitter. And if I did, I would go on a walk, I would have dinner, I would take a drive, I might even sleep on this shit and then decide, was it worth it to put this out there? Because Twitter is like that friend that talks too much. Twitter always sits up there and tells you, oh, you can tell me anything. Oh, no, talk honestly to me. We're friends. You can be open. And then when you press that send button, you're like, oh, God damn it, I forgot that talks too much. He's going to tell everybody. Twitter's that woman that tells you, I'm your friend, tell me everything. Twitter's that out there trying to get a job from. Because now people can go to Twitter and decide if you should even be employed. It's crazy, man, how this is. But the big question is, now that people are digging up so much other stuff on Twitter, and they're reaching from years ago, is there a statute of limitations? And even more, is there a period where we can forgive? I mean, speaking of loans, we can forgive loans, man. We can forgive people who have bad credit.
Yeah, if people bankrupt in 7 years, they're good, you know. What about Twitter?
Yeah, but what if you're morally bankrupt? Can you forgive that?
Oops.
Yeah, was that us? Oops. And that is where we get into our people right here. As I said, there were a lot of people who were catching hell on Twitter for what they've been saying years ago, decades ago. And the latest one that they're talking about right now is Mark Wahlberg. Mark Wahlberg, yeah, that guy, man, the guy that was in those shitty Transformers movies and, you know, Marky Mark and all that good stuff. Mark, he's up here looking at himself like that, like, what did I do, bro? BLM, bro. I'm all about peace today, bro.
I don't know why. I never liked this guy.
Well, you probably had a feeling about his past. You probably had an intuition. I would say woman's intuition, but that would be sexist today.
I say that.
Huh, bro? What'd I do? I don't remember. I'm an actor. Everybody loves me. I'm all about peace, bro. George Floyd, bro. You know, what could be wrong? He said, all I did, bro, was put out a tweet. George Floyd, bro. Peace. You know, he put up an image of George Floyd and said, the murder of George Floyd is heartbreaking. We must all work together to fix this problem. I'm praying for all of us. God bless. Heart emoji, praying hands. You know, the thing with...
and hashtag Black Lives Matter.
And hashtag Black Lives Matter. Asian ones don't, though. If you know about this guy. And guess what? Black ones don't either. At least they didn't a long time ago. What could go wrong, man? With Mark Wahlberg. Thing with Mark Wahlberg is one of the most successful and respected, at least on the business end, actors in Hollywood right now. Most, not all, but most of his movies are big hits because he's a box office bankable guy. Even when they're not in the movie theater, they go straight to home video or straight to streaming or straight to Netflix. Even then, it's the most watched thing that's streaming at that moment.
What do you say, Spence? Not much.
Method acting, just pretend all Vietnamese people.
Oh, damn.
My man has been, everything he's done has been successful. Why you guys hating on this man? Everything he's touched has worked. He was a successful model at one time. We all know. After that, chart-topping rapper. Marky Mark, the Funky Bunch, and his right nipple. Or is that the left one?
Left. Yeah,
I was never down with any of this.
Yeah, that was a weird period. And if you weren't down with that period when he was rapping, let's not forget he was also a successful singer.
You got the touch. You got the power.
Okay, he was terrible, but that movie is a classic. Boogie Nights.
Look at his hands.
So even when he look yeah, I'm feeling this. Yeah, man. So even when he was terrible, he was still successful. What's going on? apparently the problem is he also had a good run at being a racist. At least back in the day. Right now, since he put out that tweet about George Floyd, people like, no, that's cool and everything, you know, but let's not forget that you didn't really love niggas back in the day either.
When?
Well, we're getting to that. It says here, Mark Wahlberg's history of hate crimes resurfaced after George Floyd tribute. This is from NME. But as I always say, you can find this on many news platforms right now because a lot of people are talking about this. And my man did some truly horrible things with his racism. He did. There's a whole description here. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but if you've been listening to this, him and some friends chased down some black kids on a field trip and threw rocks at them and called them the N-word. Even said, while they were yelling, kill the N-word, and throwing rocks at them. 1988, Wahlberg assaulted a middle-aged Vietnamese man on the street, calling him a Vietnam shit and knocking him unconscious with a large wooden stick. Wahlberg, he really did not like the Vietnamese boy. He attacked us. He did not like the Vietnamese. He almost like he went to Vietnam and fought in the war.
Try to pull a Rambo.
Yeah. Charlie's out there, bro. Oh, flashback, bro. He's saying here that he attacked a second Vietnamese man later the same day, punching him in the eye. Anyway, you get the picture. Apparently the guy was a real piece of shit back in the day when he was doing all this.
Yeah.
The thing is, he has since then apologized for these to the point where he even said that, and let me see, this is from the Daily News, the New York Daily News. He's apologized to the point where he wants to go face to face to the assault victims and apologize personally. That's what he said back in the day. As far as the crimes go, let's see here. In August 1986, civil action was filed against Wahlberg for violating the civil rights for his victims, and the case was settled the next month. So he never really, he was threatened with going to jail if he got in any more trouble, I believe. It was something where it's like a probationary period or something. He would go to jail if he got in more trouble, but he didn't really do any real punishment for this. So a lot of people are saying right now, yeah, that's cool that you're talking about George Floyd, but didn't seem to feel that way back in the day. You were more a part of the problem than you were the solution. So, the question is, of course, that's going to be brought up with a lot of people. Should he be forgiven? I'll tell you right now, I'm sure he's sorry, being that he got rich after using our culture to get there. I'm sure he's sorry when he put himself in front of a lot of black people and just start walking and rapping.
I bet he's very sorry about that.
Yeah, appropriation, boy, that'll change your life. That'll make you think.
Terrible.
But something, appropriation can really turn your life around. I'll tell you. Boy, I put all these black people behind me, boy, I feel their pain. Uh-huh. And by the way, I pay them very well. So
as long as they're behind me.
As long as they stay behind, as long as they're back there, smelling my farts, that's great.
Funky and bunch. That's y'all.
I'm the one that's funky because I'm farting on the bunch back here. So here's the thing. Should he be forgiven? You got it. Now, before I actually let anybody answer that, I believe at the time when he was doing this, and I don't want anybody to think I'm sitting up here trying to make excuses. He was 16 years old when he did it. Maybe he was older. Maybe he was like 17, 18. But I think he was around 16, 17 when he did it. He was a teenager. So with that in mind, given that was years ago, given that he has acknowledged it, and he has said that I would like to apologize to the victims. There was one person who I think was the target of his of his racism and when he was being chased and he was saying kill that N-word and whatnot. That person said, I don't think he should be pardoned. I don't care how long it's been. I'm still sore about this. But as for the rest of the world, what do you think, Oz?
Yeah, I heard about these charges brought up a couple years ago. Even when he came out, I was like, what is this stupidness? That and Vanilla Ice. Like, what is this? And I ain't worried about this. So I never really paid attention to him. Then we became an actor. I was like, this guy, like Mia said, he always rubbed me the wrong way for some reason. You know what I mean? I was like, I'm good on this guy. He looks like he says the N-word a lot, though, doesn't he? Anyway.
It's that in that Boston accent, man.
But that, for me to forget, that is a question that is best suited for the black people he hangs around. Do they forgive him? Because I don't hang around this dude, and I wish, I don't really care if I do or don't. So for me to say forgive him, I got no comment on that, to tell you the truth. Should he be forgiven? I guess. I don't know if he's sincere to the people that he's around, the black people he's around. Maybe if they forgive him, good for them. But for me, like I said, he's always rubbed me the wrong way. So I guess my answer is no, I don't forgive him because I never met him and I never liked him anyway.
It's good to hear that other people don't like him. I don't know why. Like, I never liked this guy. I feel like he doesn't have the talent or the looks, but one way or another, he became famous. I don't know how. If he did that when he was like 16, 17, that was a long time ago. So I would say... forgive but not forget, because like if he punched like several Vietnamese guys and he throw rocks to black kids and shit, I would say this guy has a racist background.
It's not a popular thing to say forgive. It's not, when you're mad at somebody, especially when new information comes up. It's not easy to always forgive some people when they've had success and they victimize others. I understand that. But it's just a personal thing with me. And this is coming from a black person. I don't believe that you hold those things against people their whole lives. That's just me. I can tell you right now, I'm not the same person I was 10 years ago. I'm 49. I'm not the same person I was 10 years ago. I was a horrible person 5 years ago, 6 years ago.
Don't say 5.
Okay, 6 years ago. I was not a good person at one point, man. And maybe it takes a person who's done some really bad shit to go out and talk about how you can forgive people. He did this when he was 16. I don't believe in holding shit over people their whole lives, man. Because today that's what happens. You go on Twitter and you find this stuff, and because people choose how they want to forgive people. People can forgive Mel Gibson. People can forgive Quentin Tarantino. People can forgive, all these other people. And I say these niggas I mentioned earlier today. People can forgive, take your pick. Those are my big go-tos, you know me. But, take your pick of whoever. James Gunn, we always talk about these people and who we choose to forget and who we don't. And I just think that, and I'll tell you what's wrong, what he did wrong. I'm getting to a point here. Because I do believe, yes, something that was done with somebody was 16, when they were 16. You always look at things individually and you look at the severity of it. If we want to change the world and we want to change, and we do want to approach racism and we do want to stop racism, you got to give people a chance for people who were probably racist at one time. You got to give them a chance to change, because that's a part of it. If you're not going to allow racist people to change, then there's no hope for racism at all, because people do change. 16 is an age, man. I was a much dumber person. I was a dumb person when I was 16. I was a dumbass when I was 25 and 26. I was a piece of shit when I was in my 30s. So, I feel like I've changed for the better. So it'd be hypocritical of me to look at somebody who says that they've changed. I have to take their word for it. Hopefully it's not about money. Hopefully it's not about keeping his career. Hopefully he really has become a different person. And as a teenager, I find it hard to really hold stuff against people when they were a teenager, even with something as horrible as he's done.
Yeah. That's why I said forgive but not forget. Like, forgive him because he did those when he was really, really young. But just keep it back in your mind. Well, like, if he ever does it again, then you would say, like, oh, okay, this is this guy. Like, he's still saying.
You have to keep those things in mind. And plus, that is the thing with George Floyd. We have to keep in mind that you have to give people a chance to change and not hold it against them. Because with George Floyd, right now, what we see people doing, what are they doing to take away from him? They're bringing up the past, talking about his crimes in the past. They're doing that to take away from the victim. So we can't pick and choose on who we want to forgive and who we don't want to forgive, I don't think, because it'll make us a hypocrite too. Right now we're talking about this whole thing of how they're treating black people. Whenever we're victimized, somebody looks for dirt for us in the past so that they can hurt us today. We got to learn to apply that across the board, in my opinion. That's just me. Forgiveness is never. That's why forgiveness it carries the weight that it does, because it's never meant to be easy. There are plenty of people. I'm not mad at Mark Wahlberg. There's too many real racists out there and open racists out there to get mad at. I ain't spending my energy on goddamn Marky Mark. There's so many people to be angry at. Why the am I gonna get mad at him for shit that came out a long time ago? And he has actually said, "I am sorry."
Just because he's famous, that's all.
Well, that's why. Now I tell you, man. The stuff you've done in the past cannot be held against you all the time. You gotta learn to forgive. But I also think that sometimes you need to shut the fuck up and stay off Twitter. That was his problem. That was what he did. I'm not saying that you can't go online and express your opinion. You can't give to the cause or contribute some kind words to the cause. But if you do decide to go on, you gotta have some tact with that if you have a dark, dubious past. Because what you have to do is you have to anticipate, man. This is the one big rule of Twitter. You have to anticipate, if you know you've done some wrong in the past, I don't care how long it is, man. You got to be prepared for this, that people will bring up shit that you've done. You have to bring it up before they do, because if you don't bring it up, then people will bring it up for you. If they have to bring it up, that's when they're going to get mad and call you a hypocrite and get pissed off.
But for famous people, sometimes even if they don't say anything, let's say if he didn't say anything about this, then people would find out all the stuff and they would say look, he was a racist and now he's quiet, he's not saying anything, so he's still a racist.
Well, that's why I say, if I would have, listen, if you know you've done some dark shit in the past and you want to contribute some words to a cause, but your past goes against that very thing you're trying to add some kind words to, you better say something before they say it, because if they say it,
yeah.
Now his career ain't gonna be ruined or anything, but I would say this, and I'm gonna pass it on to you, Oz, but I'll say this. My approach, hire me as your PR person, man. My approach is, if I would have wrote that, I would have wrote something eloquent and said, I just want everybody to know that I have a dark past with racism. I've had to come to grips with the kind of person that I was when I was very young. And thank God that I was very young, because as I matured, I also realized that racism was wrong. And that is why I'm so hurt by what I see today. I've learned from my own dark actions how much I hurt people. And I don't want to see that happen to anybody else. You don't get on there and put up a picture of George Floyd when you chase people down saying, kill them and beat up a Vietnamese people. I don't care how many times you apologize. You better put that shit out there so people can see it.
I bet he did that because he didn't think people would find out, or he would just slip or something,
We're seeing it with a lot of people actually, but the girl from Glee, Leah Michelle, she went out there talking about being kind to people and the movement that's going on right now. And one chick came up and said, "Yeah, it's funny you say that because you were a real bitch to me." When we on the set of Glee, even if it's not racism, if you were a bully, if you were unkind and you did something or anything that people can find on you, then say something. It's not that you can't say anything, just acknowledge, because you don't want them to find out. Oh, here's something else. How about, maybe it's contributing some money and saying I did this and shutting the up. That might be a good thing. That's an option too.
Chess says Corey for president.
Yeah, and say, here's the thing. I know I don't need to be president. I got too much shit behind me. So they say you can't do no worse than Trump.
Everything will show up after that.
Yeah, man. I'm just saying, man. Let's all. The internet is a way where we try to make. I said this earlier today with J.K. Rowling, and I said it with Terry Crews, man. Terry Crews meant well with this statement. If you go watch our show from earlier today, we're gonna put on YouTube later. He used the words black supremacy in a tweet. Wrong move, man. Wrong, as the Joker said, ooh, wrong choice of words. J.K. Rowling is going off on some transgender bullshit that she's talking about. Where honestly, if you want my opinion, I said this earlier, and I say it even about myself. As straight people, and as a straight black man, and as you as a straight white woman, we can't come up here and tell these people what they need to be called and have all these opinions. We're not walking in their shoes. We don't know what the kind of bullshit they got to deal with. So why are you with these people, man? How about we have a dialogue? But Twitter's not a place to have a dialogue. Everything's in chunks. I don't like this. I don't like you. You made me mad. Well, you made me mad. I hate you. I hate you too. We don't get a chance to have a decent back and forth. So that is why I tell people, man, you know what my whole thing to do today is stay off of Twitter. I'll put something on there that's either funny or I do take that walk and think about what I'm saying. But you'd hardly ever see me on social media outside of putting funny stuff up from DT, because this shit ain't gonna come back and hunt me later on. Or I know how stupid I can talk sometimes, and especially in the heat of the moment. So I try to put these Twitter fingers down, put them in my pocket, and cool them off.
Those tweets were like freaking, $50 million ago. So he ain't worried about that, man.